Welcome back, data leaders and Python learners. Harnessing the power of OS module in Python, essential techniques and tips. The problem that you are facing. You want to work with the file system, the underlying operating system file using Python. You don't want to use the operating system's own command prompt or the GUI. You want to use automated using Python. For that, Python already ships with the module or a library called as OS, operating system. And in order to use it, you don't need to do any kind of pip installation. You can directly start importing it into your Python execution environment. If in case you are looking for some other alternate, which is much more user-friendly than OS module, there is, in fact, a library called as pathlib. This library, you have to install it using pip install. I will not be covering this library in this video, but you can still explore it. Before we head to Jupyter Notebook and start working on the examples, I will provide the objective. What we are going to do is, I have already shared one of the Git repo link in the description. That is the repo which contains all the code examples and the text data examples. We have to locate a file inside the repo called example.conf and read it as text file into Python execution environment. Okay, you have to do this is our objective. Let us go to the terminal. Inside the terminal, you should be inside the GitHub repo directory. Inside the GitHub repo directory, you have to just type Jupyter Notebook and press enter. It will spawn the Jupyter Notebook server. In the meantime, in the bottom window of the terminal, I will show what will be there in the repo. There will be number of folders like this: code script, license, and rest of the things. Okay, we see the server is up. So once the server is up, press down your control key on your keyboard and then click on this link. So if you click on this link, it will open up your browser automatically, and you can see this kind of server, this kind of page, HTML page on your browser. This is basically serving the folders inside your directory, inside your OS directory. So you don't need to do anything. It will automatically, Jupyter Notebook will automatically do this. Once you get this page, click on code_script_notebook. It will go in and you will see further folders. Click on Jupyter Notebooks. We are going to work on os_module_basics.ipynb notebook file, and we will be working. We have to locate this file example.conf and read it. This is going to be our objective. So let us begin without further ado. Let us open. Whenever you see a black screen like this, my tab, the new tab is getting opened, and you can see it is getting populated right now. And we are going to start working directly with the modules. I am going to start. I have explained about the Jupyter Notebook and these cells and what they do, how to convert them into Markdown, how to convert them into code cell, all these things in the earlier video where I discuss about config parser. Take a look at that. It is very simple. You will understand it just by reviewing that. Now let me start executing this cell. I have used Control Enter shortcut key to execute this cell, and it will execute without any kind of warnings or any kind of error, because OS and warnings by default come with Python installation. So you don't need to do any kind of pip install. Once the execution completes, initially whenever you are running the Jupyter Notebook for the first time, it will take little time for the execution to happen. So bear with that. And another challenge could be that your OS is running other activities, and the Jupyter Notebook or the Python environment is not getting the processor, the priority. So that could also be the reason why it slows down. In my case, it is because of the processor priority. It is getting slowed down. Understanding such kinds of things, that why something is slowing down in your system, is also very important as a Python or a software developer and a data engineer, because you will be working with a lot of data, lot of systems, and you need to understand how these systems are working beneath the GUI. That is also one of the major objective that I have in creating this course. I have seen a lot of courses, they gloss over these concepts and they expect that we know this. However, what is happening is that most of the people who are learning, they don't even they could not imagine these things. That is one of the challenges which comes, because they want to get the things done. As a learner, you want to get the things done, right? You don't want to understand what is the logistics below the Python programming language. As your career progresses and as your knowledge increases, these simple details is what is going to be very important for you. So that's why I'm creating these videos, and I hope you like it. If you like it, do give a like, click on that, and also subscribe this channel. Let me further proceed with the examples here. I am going to, first of all, I have imported OS module here. So once I have imported OS module, you can just create a new cell by pressing B shortcut key. Just press B shortcut key like this, and you will see that the new cell got opened. Or you can actually come here and click on, insert cell A or B. So this is the above or below, so you can insert it like that. And here I type OS, like, just a minute. I type OS here, type a dot, and then I press tab key. And the moment I press a tab key, I get a series of drop down here, a drop down with series of data here. These are the various methods and variables inside the OS module that you can access. This is the power of Jupyter Notebooks. So you can see what is there inside the module without actually executing them. And this is going to be very useful as you progress and practice the skills of Python and the Python ecosystem, not just Python only, Python ecosystem. The more and more libraries you practice, this kind of variables will start increasing in your repertoire. But how will you remember all those things? Actually, you don't need to. When you are using Jupyter Notebooks, you can actually prototype your code. Like how I have prototyped my code here. You can first prototype it, test everything, and then convert these series of commands into script and then present it or push it to the production. That is how it works, and that is the purpose of Jupyter Notebooks. Do not mistake Jupyter Notebook to be used in production. It is actually very unlikely that someone will use it. It is primarily used for presenting and verifying or sharing the logic and the code. Okay, so I want to introduce that, and now I am going to do, what I'm going to do is I am going to first of all introduce you to the get CWD. CWD is nothing but current working directory. So I am going to use that method and get the current working directory and assign that value to CWDIR variable, Python variable. So you see that my current working directory is this. It's pretty long. So you see that it is giving me all from the root. It is showing me till where my data, where this notebook exists. So how can you check that? So if you go back to the earlier page where I was showing all the folders, take a look. Code underscore scripts notebooks, click that, Jupyter Notebooks, click that. You see this here, and you see this path. Just remember this path. You come here, you see this path here. This is the path that we are talking about. This is same as the path that you saw here. And inside that path, we have this file. So that is how powerful OS module is. So it can actually read exactly what is there in your operating system, file system. Next, I am going to do a list directory. The same list directory, I will go to the terminal now. If I go to the list directory here, inside I am going to go into the code script and inside Jupyter Notebook. And if I do ls here, ls is list directory. So if I do ls here, you will see these files. These are the same files that you will find in the here also. These are the same files, but you will also find this. There is an additional file that's .ipynb's checkpoint. But why in the terminal I am unable to find it? Why it is not coming? In case of Linux, what happens is all the files starting with dot is considered as hidden files. So that is why you don't see it when I use a regular ls command. So if I use ls a switches for all. So it will show me this data, this file. This is actually a folder, this folder also. Let us go back to the Jupyter notebooks again, and once you see, this is actually a list. So the os.list directory will give you the data inside the directory as list. So I can assign that to a Python variable, and on that Python variable I can do looping also. So if I want to loop, I can do loop on the Python variable also. This is the for loop, for node in files underscore in.dir, and I'm printing the node here. So this is how you can use the OS library. We will come to this in a couple of minutes. Okay, the same variable will come to in a couple of minutes. In list, we can actually access the variables inside the list using indexing. This is called as list indexing. The list will start with number 0, and it will go up to the length of the list. So here number 0 is actually this value. So you see I pi nb, and if I take -1 is actually the last element in the list. So this is the last element in the list. So this is how you can actually get the data inside the list. And there is also one more way you can actually check between two places. So if I do like this, if I say this, if I take this and if I take this, so it will actually take from number 1 to number 1, 2, 3, 4. If you see, it will not show the fourth data. So it will actually stop with the third data itself. So that is how the index works. So it will show this value in this index, but not in this index. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to do a change directory. You can use os.change directory, and I am going to go one step back in the directory tree. What does that mean? So let me execute, and then let me get the current working directory. You see here the current working directory is showing code script notebooks, Jupyter notebooks, but here it is showing only code script notebooks. So what has happened is I have went one step back. So I have done cd ... So this is what actually happened, change directory ... This is what the OS module did. And now if I do a list directory here, you will see that I am getting all the list of folders in code_script_ notebooks. So this is how you can use this is the power of OS module. So you can literally do all the commands that you are doing on the terminal, you can do it on the Jupyter notebooks also. This is what I want to communicate. We can also get some more details, like how many CPU counts I have, what is the login, who has logged in, who is the user, and what is the version of Python. So I use os_sys.version. This is the version of Python. Okay, and if I want to get the argument for this Python Jupyter notebook, I can do that also. These are all additional variables that comes with OS module that you can use. And the most important variable that you need to remember is os.environ. This will give you all the environmental variables inside your operating system. Why this is important, how you are going to use this, all these things I will cover separately in a different video. However, keep this in mind that you can get all the environmental variables and store it inside Python variable here. And if you check the type here, okay, it's going to throw me an error because I did not execute this. Once I execute this cell and I come back here and execute it, you will see this is telling that it is a part of OS module. And so if I go and ask, okay, what is my shell in my environment, it will say bin bash. So yes, exactly, my operating in my Linux, I am using bash shell as my shell. So it is showing that. And I can take all my path environment also. So I can take my path environment, I see it is a string. So my environment, and if I use path here, it will actually select the key value of path. So let me actually do a split here. This might be a little more complicated. Experiment it with your own operating system and try to, okay, here I am not actually executing this command. Okay, if I execute this command, if I execute and show you my variables, it will show you all the private details of my operating system, which I don't want to show. So, but you can execute it when you are using it in your own, operating system that no one is going to see. So you can execute this and see how the actual variable looks like. So I will keep it there. I will not execute that. Now, what I'm going to do is, our objective is to actually read this file. So come back here. Our objective is to read this file, right? That is what we started. And I already told how to reach the file in the list. So if I have to reach this file using this list, what I have to do? 0, 1, 2, 3. So if I use 3 here, and if I press enter, you see I can actually read. I can get this value here. I come down. If you are not aware of how to read files into Python execution environment, I have a separate video on that. I will tag it to this video. Just take a look. I can use the open inbuilt function. There is a inbuilt function in Python called as open. Use that, and I can send this name. So basically, this variable is now holding the file name. This file name, right? This file name. And if I execute this, I should be able to read it, right? But if I try to execute it, you will see file not found. Why? That is because I actually changed the directory here. I came one step above the directory by using this change directory. So I am in this location. In this location, there is no example.conf. It is actually inside this Jupyter underscore notebooks folder. So I have to again change back into the folder. So what I do is, again I use change directory and I give the Jupyter notebook, and now when I execute it, you see that I am able to read the file and I can actually print the data also. So coming back to our presentation, we have gone through the entire process of the problem that we want to solve, that is to work with operating systems file system using Python, and we have OS module for that. We saw where to get more information about OS module and the alternate also, and we saw the example how to use OS module to read a file. So you might have some more questions, and you might want me to cover some other libraries and explain some other ecosystem details of Python. Do get in touch with me through any of the connection methods that I have shared in the YouTube video description. And if you like my content, give a like. And if you want to get more information, immediately get the video updates, do subscribe by clicking the bell icon. And if you want to learn more about the ecosystem of Python, the entire playlist will show here in the top left or top bottom left corner of this video. Click that and you will get the entire playlist where all the related Python ecosystem libraries will be explained. You can take a look at that. And also the Python course which I have made, it's a small introduction course with just only 10 to 12 videos, which can bring you up to speed, even if you're not technical guy, bring you up to speed to where you can actually start working with libraries like config parser, OS module, and Jupyter notebooks, etc. in a very short time. So that is more important, because non-tech and tech guys can learn a lot from these kinds of videos. So that's why I'm making it. And stay tuned guys, next I will be covering the requests module in Python, which will help us to get the data from the internet APIs as well as from the websites. So hold on to your horses, and till the next video, have a great time, have a fun time with your life, and see you then.